E. Ooh. Ah. Ting tang. Walla walla bing bang. Ooh ee ooh ah. Sorry, I said I wouldn't do this. Ting tang walla walla bing bang. Hey everybody. Can you tell I'm in a strange mood? Talking about health of body, mind, and spirit. Welcome to Ask Away Thursdays. Patrick Coffin here. Hope you are well wherever you are. If it's Adelaide, Australia, or Melbourne, or northern Manitoba, or Japan, or Ireland, or Canada, or Southern California. Good to have you aboard. This special edition of Ask Away Thursday on Thursday, January 20th. Hope you like the Coffin Report. Starting to put a little bit of humor in there, a little bit of dash, a little bit of humoric. Good to be here, and it's good that you're there. So, hello, everyone. And I want to get my little... Turn this sound off. Hello, Yvette. Or SoCal. Yeah, you beat me to the You beat me to the punch. Was that Captain and Tennille? You beat me. Mid-70s? I don't remember. Hello, Marty Lincoln Reagan. How you feeling, man? How's everybody feeling? Hello, Lorraine. I'm in a levitous mood, as it were, because in thinking about health of mind, body, and spirit, I was thinking about the importance of comedy. Comedy as a divine attribute, as a gift. And there is a phenomenal juggler. I don't know if he's still performing, but his name is Michael. I knew I was going to drop his last name. Michael, he performed for President Reagan. Michael Davis is Ford Theater. Yeah, Michael Davis. I'm going to find you some of this guy's performances. Truly amazing juggling. So gifted, but it's mostly the humor and the good feeling that it instills. He was on wow, he's born in 1953. Crazy. He was on Saturday Night Live 6 times. And I will send you a little YouTube. He's got this lovely, awkward affect. It's part of his shtick, and it's very effective. So charming and funny. And I thought I'd start with that. Where is my little dog? Oh, here it is. All right. So there it is. So I don't know if it's a kick. I hope it's not a kick. I hope it's a lifelong trend of thinking about health. In interviewing Jay Richards and in still waiting for his book. I ordered it. I haven't received it yet. I have a PDF early copy, but I hate PDF. I just need a book I can smell and bring to the beach and take outside. That book on Eat, Fast, Feast, and then Dr. Bill Sears' book on the healthy brain. It's got me thinking about what I ingest and how it affects my health, body, mind, and spirit. We're that tripartite unity, right? We're bodily, we're physical, we're matter. Your body is not an obstacle to the human person that you are. It's the manifestation of, it's the incarnation of you. It's the visible part of you. The soul is the invisible part of you. The body's the visible part of you. And then Suke, the mind, is the thing with which you think. The center or the seat of thoughts. And the spirit, of course, the higher identity and aspirations of the soul. Really, soul is probably a good synonym for spirit. I think they're basically the same thing. And it got me thinking about the things that I'm reading. So this is a great book. Wanting, it's on mimetic desire by Luke Burgess. Luke is hopefully going to come into the studio when I get it finished. Yeah. This is a book about why people want what they want, why you want what you want. Each of us spends every moment of our life, from the moment we're born to the moment we die, wanting something. We even want in our sleep, yet few people ever take the time to understand how they come to want things in the first place. Wanting well, like thinking clearly, is not an ability we're born with. It's a freedom we have to earn. Due to one powerful yet little known feature of human desire, that freedom is hard won. Really thoughtful book on summarizing mimetic desire as explicated by the late great René Girard. Haven't started this yet, but this is part of a deep interest in mine in the spread and infiltration of communism. This is Anatoly Golitsyn's New Lies for Old. An ex-KGB officer warns how communist deception threatens survival of the West. Excellent book. I love converts to the light. So anything toward Catholicism, getting out of communism into a Christian civilization. It's awesome. Speaking of mind, health of mind, everything you believe is wrong. Now, I'll give you a little sample of why this book, which is going to be the subject of my interview with Matt Briggs, is so excellent. He takes pains to explain that he's not a conservative. Remember, he's a Catholic mathematician. And here it is. So in saying that he's not conservative, he's based. He wants us to be based as well. A consensus among the elite academics does not prove the belief of the elite academics is true. That you are offended is irrelevant to whether a proposition is true or false. Hypocrites are sometimes the best judges. If animals have rights, they have responsibilities too. Equality is false and undesirable. Diversity is our weakness. Equity is destructive. Here's some more. There are no such thing as gays. There are no such thing as transsexuals either. Defining yourself as your sexual desire is nonsensical. Voting does not make the majority position right and the minority position wrong. Voting is a leading cause of discord. Democracy is rarely to be desired. The commonness of a behavior is not proof of that the behavior is moral. It's impossible not to be judgmental or to not discriminate or even to not try to impose one's beliefs. That, or if certain apes copulate freely, is no reason that men should copulate freely. Screaming, "Bigot!" is never an argument. Miracles happen. You cannot choose to believe you don't have oh, this is awesome. Think of this. You cannot choose to believe you do not have a free will. I'll read it again. You cannot choose to believe you do not have a free will. Lovely. That because our top minds cannot think of another reason for some phenomenon like free will does not prove there is no reason. God exists. So this book is a vademecum, a guide, a manual to spotting fallacies, to spotting missteps in logic. And I love it. I can't wait to dig into it. We already talked about this on the show. The Healthy Brain Book, an all-ages guide to a calmer, happier, sharper you. Pretty big claim to say that he can prevent and reverse dementia or Alzheimer's through the 7 smarts. Let's see if I can remember them. This is from this month's Transform You. The 7 smart foods are wild-caught salmon, which he says is the number one. If you line up the ingredients the brain needs and the ingredients that wild-caught salmon has, it's just the most unique overlap of requirement and disposition or source. So wild-caught salmon, avocados, olive oil, nuts, berries, eggs, and greens. Mostly fats because our brains are 60% fat. G. Edward Griffin, World Without Cancer, the story of vitamin B17. He marshals the evidence that cancer is a deficiency disease like scurvy or pellagra, aggravated by the lack of an essential food compound in modern man's diet. That substance is vitamin B17. In its purified form developed for cancer therapy, it's known as Laetrile. This story is not approved by orthodox medicine. The FDA, the AMA, and the American Cancer Society have labeled it fraud and quackery. Yet the evidence is clear that here at last is the final answer to the cancer riddle. Why has orthodox medicine waged war against this non-drug approach? The author contends that the answer is to be found not in science, but in politics, and is based upon the hidden economic and power agenda of those who dominate the medical establishment. A little quote here from a nurse named Mrs. R.E. Bruce, San Diego. For the first time since I became a nurse 23 years ago, I do not fear cancer. Dr. Frederick Burton, MD, Allentown, PA, the most comprehensive picture of the status of health in the world I've ever read. So very, very thoughtful and of typical G. Edward Griffin, very clearly written. So let's go back here to the hellos, and I want to hear from you people. Lorraine says, I've always had a huge place in my heart for comedy. Yeah, comedy is serious business. The comedian, the role of the comedian is very important. And I'll give you a name. I'm just going to write his name out here. I want you to look him up. Kyle Dunnigan. Kyle Dunnigan, I think, is the greatest living comedian. He does these cosplay low-tech imitations where the center of his face is a celebrity or someone well-known, and then the outer limit is him. So his own face is kind of low-techy married or melded, morphed onto the face, the digital face of a celebrity. He does Sylvester Stallone. He does a brilliant new Alec Baldwin. He does super creepy Michael Jackson. Now, there's potty words. If you can't handle potty words or you find them offensive and they distribute, don't watch Kyle Dunnigan. So I'm telling you, foul language alert. With that caveat, this guy is really plugged into a lot of funny things, and I just he does Ben Shapiro, he does Pete Davidson, he does he just goes on, he does Elon Musk. That's Kyle Dunnigan. So yes, I agree, very important comedy. Still slammed, Marty says. 4 nights no sleep. Hope the late nebulizer works quickly. You'll never appreciate the good night's sleep until you haven't had it in a while. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so our good friend Lincoln Reagan here has been slapped around pretty nicely by the COOF, COVID. I too went through 4 nights of very little sleep. I slept hours and hours on end for days, just trying to stay above, getting back to the 0 level of normal. You'll want to, if you nebulize hydrogen peroxide, you want to play with the proportion. I would start with just the over-the-counter 3%, the stuff you get at Walmart or CVS or Target, and do 1 part to 1 part, and shake it up. Succuss it pretty good, and put it in. You just need a little bit, and it's good for, say, 10 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day to start. If your eyes water, as my eyes watered a little bit, in breathing the mask, it just kind of got to my eyes, and I found myself sneezing a lot. But with the more diluted proportion of hydrogen peroxide and water, it's fine, and it's very safe, and it gets right down into your lungs in a good, lovely way. So prayers for Monsieur Reagan. You'll get through it. It's just a pain. Don't think of don't have a dream day where you're recovering. Oh, by Monday I'll be fine. You might not be. It's going to take time. The bioweapon is not deadly, but it's got an insidious nature to it. It has hooks to it that get into you. Greetings, Joe. Hello. G'day, Joe D. Internicola. Keith says, maybe Keith's wife. Is this Keith Lee's wife or kin, or is it Kent? Kent. What is your secret to reading so many books, no sleep? Yeah, sleep. Who needs sleep? I don't know. I think it's my favorite thing to do. One of my favorite things is to read. I when I wake up, I start reading. Gonna yawn. It's only because I'm boring. Excuse me. Maybe I'm tired. I like to sit away from my phone and away from the laptop, preferably outside where I get some sun. And I either take a highlighter or a pen. That's why I do use Kindle. I get some books by Kindle, but if it's something I really want, I'm going to be speaking on or teaching on or writing about or presenting in a show, I almost always get a hardcover or soft, but a physical copy because I like to write notes. So there it is. I'm also reading Moon Man by Bart Sibrel. And this might make some of you uncomfortable, but that's okay. You should probably get yourself exposed to the evidence that we didn't go to the moon. Ever. Sibrel is the guy who was punched in the face by Buzz Aldrin, allegedly the second man on the moon. So, and Bart's going to be on the show. Okay, I think democracy is overrated, and I don't believe it works. If it ever did, yeah, it's bad. It's just it's the least bad of all. I think. That's why the American Republic is better than a straight democracy, because the Electoral College is a kind of a break. Pardon me. Big Pharma, says Joe, makes too much money to really want to find a cure for cancer, in my opinion. Yeah, if you go to, let's say, apricotpower.com or go to your local health food store and ask for apricot kernels, a.k.a. apricot seeds, they have warnings on them. Toxic, danger, Will Robinson. Yeah, if you eat a lot of them, they can be toxic. A lot of foods taken in great number can be toxic. But this is another undercutting that the multi-billion-dollar industry does for treatments that are natural and inexpensive, for things for which you can't get a patent. So a great chapter in World Without Cancer on the history of the FDA and how politics and big pharma overlap. For instance, Richard Nixon was a long-time representative attorney for was it GlaxoSmithKline? Warner. Was it Warner? I'll find it. Also the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations. Doesn't really matter. But Nixon was a major attorney for Big Pharma. Here we go. Oh, there's Ken. There he is. Tis himself. Yeah, it's like mob rule. That's pretty much it, Lorraine. Stephanie Gordon's book, Ask Your Husband, is out now. Get it from Amazon tomorrow. Yeah, I think you'll like it. Very nice. Sometimes you can get a cheaper book than Amazon. Amazon is not exactly our friend. I used to get a lot of books from fetchbook.info, but that went foul. It went south. It went fallow, as the kids say. Just going to rejigger this here. Okay. Yep, there we go. Here's what I use. Now, there is another book that I'll recommend for spotting fallacies, and that is The Fallacy Detective by the Bluedorn brothers. Fallacy Detective would be good for homeschoolers, too. These are evangelical Christian guys. Christianbook.com. There you go. 38 lessons on how to recognize bad reasoning. Nathaniel Bluedorn and Hans Bluedorn. Had a nice go-around with Nathaniel on why he believed in sola scriptura. It didn't go very far. He kind of drifted away. But there's that. Yeah, we're made to think logically. God is logos. That's where logic comes from, right? So we're made to have things coherent. I love Thomas Aquinas' definition of truth. Truth is the correspondence between the mind and the thing. And if that correspondence is broken down or undermined or scrambled in some way, then you're not living in the truth. And the truth, said Jesus, is something you will know. You will know. Think of how much is packed in that phrase from John's Gospel. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So a lot of public discourse, a lot of politics, a lot of debates, a lot of back and forth on social media and in live events involves fallacies and people throwing up a bunch of mud to change the topic. And this is why my friend Matt Briggs's book is so great, because he nails them. Yeah, it's just a great explanation of the main fallacies and how to spot them, and of course how to notice them in yourself. We're all prone to fallacies. We're all prone to mixing up our categories and drawing conclusions that aren't warranted from the evidence. We're all, starting with me, we're all prone to it, vulnerable to it. Yeah, truth will set you free. Are any of you walkers or hikers? Because walking is a magnificent exercise. What is it? Solvitur ambulando, I believe. Here we go. I was right about the spelling. Solvitur ambulando. Often attributed to St. Augustine. Solvitur ambulando means it is solved by walking. Walking. Whether or not you're listening to a podcast, whether or not you're doing it to, break a sweat or get your cardio up, that's probably going to happen depending on the kind of terrain and the distance and the speed. But I far prefer walking outside. This came up in the Dr. Sears Transform You. With a treadmill, it's just kind of the plodding, boring, not very demanding. Whereas hiking trails or tracks or sidewalks, streets, parks, paths are uneven, which is better for you because it's a little more oomph that goes into each step. So, walking's great. Yeah, Carl doesn't drive. He walks everywhere. Biking, of course. You notice the rise of the electric bike. I'm always a little skeptical of things that emerge up out of the concrete and become super popular fads. So I'm skeptical of the fat tired electric bike movement. Maybe I shouldn't be, but it just seems that I wonder what the long-term health thing is regarding putting your body, basically wrapping it around a super oversized battery. I wonder how the long-term effects of being on this all day is. Back pocket, front pocket. Do we know even? You may have heard of a book called The Invisible Rainbow. I'll put a link to it. This time of year, says Lorraine, in New England, it's difficult for an old lady. Well, that's not you, little woman. It's my best John Wayne. I'd say my wife is irrationally in love with John Wayne. It's true. We have a friend out here whose father used to build swimming pools for the rich and famous in Hollywood in the San Fernando Valley. He grew up with John Wayne and John Ford at their house all the time. He used to ride his little truck up John Wayne's leg under the table. Good man. Walk at a 3 mile an hour clip and you will burn fat faster than running. Plus, you don't have the damaged knees. Ugh. Kent says, I've heard the bilateral movement using both sides of the brain, walking, running, helps to process trauma or work through trauma. Yeah, you may have heard of EMDR. EMDR therapy. It was something discovered accidentally by a woman named Francine Shapiro. It's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, where it's a form of psychotherapy. It's a mode or a technique in which the person being treated is asked to recall distressing memories and images. Then the therapy directs the patient to one side or the other side using bilateral stimulation, such as side-to-side eye movement or tapping either side of the body. A lot of therapists use it. EMDR. Here it is. A structured therapy that encourages the patient to briefly focus on the trauma memory while simultaneously experiencing bilateral stimulation, typically eye movements, which is associated with a reduction in the vividness and emotion associated with the trauma memories. This is from a trauma website. So there it is. The Body Keeps the Score. No. By Bessel van der Kolk. No. I will check it out. The Body Keeps the Score. Interesting title. I'm also going to get to The Invisible Rainbow. I feel bad, guys. I know some of you struggle with the reading thing. I hope it's a bit of an encouragement or at least a comfort to know that I'm very slow. I'm a plodding reader. I do not read very quickly. I tend to, and I've thought about doing some kind of speed reading class, but I like tasting the words. I tend to read about the speed at which I'm thinking, saying the words. You say, it's like your own voice monologuing the words you're reading. You can hear your voice saying it as you read it, which is a very slow way to do it. But that's what that is. Slow go. You just have to make it a habit. And I bought, I don't have it here. I bought a time timer. Maybe I'll start there. Time timer. Great, great, great thing. Here's a time timer. Best $20 I ever spent. Right here. It shows you how long things take. So you set it to 15 minutes. And there it is. You start it, and it's going to go ding, ding, ding when 15 minutes are up. Now, those of you like me with moderate to severe ADHD traits, I just don't have a good sense of how long things take. If I'm late, it's because I've succumbed to time amnesia, forgetting how long things take. And when I'm hyper-focusing, I'm lost in the event. I'm lost in the whatever project I'm in. So this is a really great way of showing you how long things take. How long, if you want to get up and out in the house in the morning faster, you typically have a shower. If you're a man, shower and shave. You can set it, and when 15 minutes is up, 12 minutes is up, 20 minutes is up. It's a great teaching tool. Teresa M.J. Bohr. Hey, Teresa. I find slow readers retain more information of what they read. I think it has to do, too, with if you love the content and if you know you're going to be talking about with someone else, I think it tends to sink in more. But I'm looking up The Body Keeps the Score. Come on now. Didn't work. Whoops. The Body Keeps the Score. Bessel van der Kolk. Brain, Mind, Body in the Healing of Trauma. Interesting. Dr. Andrew Alexander McFarlane says, essential reading for anyone interested in understanding and treating traumatic stress and the scope of its impact on society. Very interesting. Yeah. Okay. The Francine de Schepper, who originated EMDR, says, a fascinating exploration of a wide range of therapeutic treatments shows readers how to take charge of the healing process, gain a sense of safety, and find their way out of the morass of suffering. So there it is. The Invisible Rainbow. Check this one out. This has my attention as well. Well, look at that. The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg, A History of Electricity and Life. 5G is being rolled out across the country despite growing evidence that it is disruptive to our health, our safety, and the environment. The Invisible Rainbow is the groundbreaking story of electricity as it's never been told before, exposing its very real impact on the biosphere and human health. Chellis Glendinning, PhD, says Furstenberg is a pioneer in the sense that Rachel Carson was a pioneer. Okay, so very interesting. 86% of the ratings are 5-star. One of the reviewers says, I have a saying, the universe rewards the curious. It's hard for many people to imagine that frequencies can negatively affect the human body, especially at a non-thermal level, but over 10,000 studies shows that they do. The book points out that historically, flu outbreaks would occur every 50 years in correlation with peaks in solar magnetic activity. After electricity became mainstream in the late 1880s, outbreaks started to occur annually and have done so since. Even astronauts can't get a break, as 50 to 60% come down with herpes due to background cosmic radiation, which measures at 160 gigahertz, which is below thermal levels. Is coronavirus dormant in us, as herpes is by the time we're 20, and somehow activated by 5G? So it's got a 139-page bibliography. I'll just put the link right here to The Invisible Rainbow. Mariela is running a mail errand, but she'll be back. Oh, she's from her secret location. Lorraine says, I've always been a huge fan of John Wayne. When I was a kid, there were movies on every Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Many times they were John Wayne. My dad was a huge fan. Yep. He's a complicated actor. He's got a very broad acting style. You can see this early on in Stagecoach, 1938. And I watched a very moving movie called The Three Godfathers. The Three Godfathers. Directed by John Ford, filmed mostly in Death Valley. It stars Harry Carey Jr., Pedro Almendares, and John Wayne as three bad guys that come across a pregnant woman in the middle of nowhere in the desert, and she gives birth and promptly dies. And she makes these three bad guys the Godfathers. And it's about their trek across the desert to get that baby to the finish line so he can live. So I'm in Hollywood having dinner with some entertainment types, and I'm sitting across from a director that I had interviewed on Catholic Answers Focus. If you look up Mike Diza, he's done some very high-quality animated films for kids, but he's a mainstream Hollywood guy and a practicing Catholic. And Mike bought the rights to this John Ford movie called The Three Godfathers. He wanted to remake it. And he's telling the story, and he's like tearing up. He can barely get through it. He's getting very emotional at how these tough, hardened criminals are changed by the presence of this baby. Beautiful. And John Wayne is just a great showcasing of his acting abilities. And of course, who can forget the man who shot Liberty Valance? Certainly not me. Not me. So, Joe says, I used to walk for about 45 minutes almost every day for about 10 years, and it helped bring down my high blood pressure and build up stamina. It helped with a bout of depression too. Unfortunately, I stopped, but I need to pick it up. Yeah, great way to start. It's just to start. I remember reading one of the producers of the show. Is it called The Biggest Loser? Or is it The Greatest Loser or Biggest Loser? Fat people who lose a lot of weight on TV. Maybe Biggest Loser, yeah. And one of the coaches for weight loss for the contestants had this MO. What he would do is he would meet with the person, and their first workout day was to get dressed for working out. So if it's a woman, sports bra, shirt, workout pants or sweats, and sneakers. Very simple. And that's it. You're done. That's your day. Your first day is to dress for working out. And what I liked about that approach is that it's like the first domino. Like Joe was saying, he got out of the habit of walking. Well, the way to get back into it is to start the first thing and make the first thing, which is putting your sneakers on. If you just robotically bend down, put your sneakers on and tie them up, all of a sudden you are out the door. Instead of thinking, where am I going to go? I've got to this, I've got to go over to here. No, just put your damn sneakers on. And that starts the flow of energy. You got a direction. So I just like that coaching habit of having someone who's probably feeling intimidated by a workout or feeling ashamed that they can't even do one push-up. They're so out of shape they're going to fail from day one. It's kind of empowering to know that, okay, you've dressed. Endorse it. Endorse your small win. Everything in life is a small win. If you have 10,000 small wins, that's called a revolutionary huge change, right? So I like that. Keith says, my wife and I call our stack of books our shame stacks. Because you haven't read them, they're just there, gathering space. The hardest part of the workout is the first 5 minutes, in my view. Yeah, once you start. And setting metrics, like writing down. I've been out because of the coof, but I do strength training, upper body strength training using rubber bands and hooks. And I also do an ab workout. And I have a start time and a finish time. Sometimes I'll use the time timer. Sometimes I'll write it out, but usually I'll follow the app. So I know there's a stopping point. So I'm not going, oh, how long? Oh, it's probably good, because I'm a terrible gauge of how long something's taking. I'm just not good at knowing the difference between 20 minutes and 30 minutes or between 45 minutes and an hour. I don't know what that is about, but I can't do it well. No skill in it. So yeah, just keep that flow starting. I think you'll appreciate the last laugh in the Coffin Report today. Cleavon Little makes a guest appearance. Remember Cleavon Little? His most famous role is the black sheriff in Blazing Saddles. Oh, so good. Another book that I've talked to you all about, and I was really happy to learn that Luke Burgess, author of this fine book, Wanting, I think he knows the author. His name is James Clear. James Clear would make a great Transform You guest as well. It's called Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits. Yep. Interesting. I'll just send you to Mr. Clear's book. Mark Manson says, a supremely practical and useful book. James Clear distills the most fundamental information about habit formation, so you can accomplish more by focusing on less. Subtitle, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. There it is. Lorraine, when you say it's a what? Please advise. So there it is. Health. So we covered health, body, mind. Another one of my habits in the morning, I try to get this up and done either before or after coffee. Now, I haven't had coffee since December 23rd, so I've gone almost a full month with no coffee. I do drink tea as a sort of supplement, but and that's reading. Usually I get 2 chapters in of the Douay Rheims Bible. I'm in the book of Numbers now. Just read the story of Balaam and Balaam's ass. Tee-hee, ass. And I like it because it makes me read slowly. I want to chew on that beautiful, quasi-Elizabethan English. And I like it. So Douay Rheims, big fan. I'm also wanting to tell you about a catechism by Francis Spirago. It's called The Catechism Explained, and it's really good. There's a Polish Father Jan, Archbishop Jan, I think it's Lengo, who was talking about it. The Catechism Explained. Wow. It's all there. This one has a foreword by Father Chad Ripperger. We already have so many catechisms. Why do we need another? We indeed have in abundance catechisms and religious manuals which appeal only to the intellect, books that do not aim at the warmth of expression and the fervent, persuasive eloquence which appeals to the heart, the force and vivifying power which affect the will through the influence of the Holy Spirit. This catechism aims at cultivating all the 3 powers of the soul, the intellect, the emotions, and the will. It does not, therefore, content itself with mere definitions. The idea in it is not to teach men to philosophize about religion, but to make them good Christians who will delight in their faith. Consequently, questions of scholastic theology, doctrines debated among theologians, are either omitted altogether or merely receive a passing mention. In this catechism, Father Spirago has endeavored to divest religious teaching of the appearance of learning and to present it in a popular and simple form. Technical terms, in which almost all religious manuals abound, even those intended for children, are carefully eliminated from his pages, since, while useful and necessary for seminarians and theologians, they are out of place in a book intended for the laity. Popular manuals of religion ought to be couched in plain and simple language, like that used by our Lord and the apostles, easy to understand. What we need is something that will touch the heart and influence the will, not merely cram the mind with knowledge. Attention may also be called to the fact that the teaching of the Church is not presented in a dry, abstract form, but is rendered attractive with interesting by illustrations, comparisons, and quotations from well-known writers. It also has many extracts from the writings of the Fathers, which are quoted mainly to elucidate and illustrate, not to prove the truths that are being enunciated. The Catechism, explained by Father Spirago, embodies the Catechism of the Council of Trent, yet contains fuller discussions for each point in the language that was developed by the Church, saints, and theologians throughout time. Rather than being locked into a specific age or decade, this catechism is an explication of the faith in an almost timeless manner. It's a catechism that any subsequent generation could read and learn the essence of the Catholic faith. That is from the foreword by Father Chad Ripperger. So there it is. Let me get that here in front of you. I did get it on Kindle because I was just reading it for personal development. I wasn't intending to say much more about it, but maybe I should. The Nigding. Yeah, the Nigding is here. It's the Nigding. The Nigding. They're about to say nigger, and the town bell interrupts it over and over again. Mel Brooks tells the story of how Cleavon Little was hired. He wasn't his first pick, but he's just so natural at it. Have you heard of, speaking of the seriousness of comedy, Dave Chappelle has a character, and it's a white racist KKK member who's blind, and he doesn't know. I think it's called Sticks and Stones. Of course, Dave Chappelle is a racist, transphobic, white supremacist. Yeah, he's a white supremacist. Of course he is. Yeah. Clayton Bigsby, the world's only black white supremacist. This is from Comedy Central. Warning. For viewers sensitive to the issues of race, be advised that the following piece contains gratuitous use of the N word, and N, of course, is capitalized so as to, I guess, make it more important. I don't know. So there's Clayton Bigsby. Good luck not laughing. All right. Carl says, I'm reading through the Douay Rheims Bible too, from start to end. Oh, you're up to Numbers. Okay, so the race is on, Carl. It's just so lovely, and it's clear. Here's what I'm looking for, and this would be maybe a good gift for my birthday. It's a commentary on Holy Scripture, and it's hard to find in paperback, but it was edited by Dom Charles Orchard. Dom Charles Orchard, not the practical commentary on Holy Scripture by Frederick Knecht, who was the auxiliary bishop of Freiburg in Germany in the 1900s. No, this is something else. And it's not the Catholic commentary edited by Mary Healy either. Orchard. Catholic commentary on... Oh, here we go. So used copy, $279. Forget it. There is a new version of it in multi-volume. It's much, much more reasonably priced. I wonder if it's at archive.org. Oh, look at that. It is. You can spend $450, or you can find it right here for free. This is a really terrific line-by-line commentary. So if you want to log in, you can borrow at the Internet Archive called archive.org. You're welcome, my people. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Yeah, Navarre Bible has good commentary. I think I already shared with you my journey toward confronting the arguments and the evidence for the young earth. And I was introduced to it by a physics PhD named Father Victor Workowitz, told to me by Bishop of Santa Rosa, Bishop Robert Vasha. Father Workowitz goes through all of the evidence from the church fathers, and they're quite unanimous that the earth is not billions and billions and billions of years old. Creation, come on now. Wow. Why am I not remembering his father? It's on Genesis. Commentary. We're getting somewhere now. Yes, the Doctrines of Genesis 1 through 11. Here's a Protestant review of that book by Michael Ord. The Doctrines of Genesis 1 through 11, a compendium in defense of traditional Catholic theology on origins. Here it is. There you go. I'm just about to film my commentary, or my distilling and summarizing the evidence that the sitting pontiff is Benedict XVI. I know it's going to make some people angry out in Catholic land. There's a deep allergy out there to even thinking about this. So, but I've got 6 pieces of evidence that have to do with the strange abdication text that he wrote and read. And also the 7th piece of evidence has to do with the canonical crimes of the St. Gallen Mafia, which also would invalidate the election that was announced on March 13, 2013. Debbie Tresemmer. Hey, Debbie. I think I heard Jordan Peterson say he found a website that gave multiple interpretations of each line when he was researching Genesis. I wonder. Brad Edpatel is lurking from Minnesota. Hello, Bradley. What's up? I wonder if that's the Bible Gateway. Huh. Okay. I got an email from Rainer Fumek, the German attorney, who wanted to have Jordan Peterson on his weekly Corona committee. And no surprise, I was told by his secretary that he's on a speaking tour and he's not doing any interviews, but he does a lot of interviews. I just don't think Jordan Peterson has spoken up at all about this tyranny, even though he is an expert on Soviet totalitarianism, and we're living under Soviet totalitarianism. The only thing I've heard him say is that he regretted getting the jab. So he got himself death vaxxed and he kind of regretted it. But apart from that, I don't see him speaking out much. Even as I pray, he comes all the way into the Catholic Church. He's not ready for that. He told me 3 years ago. Let me see. Next month it'll be 4 years since I asked him about why he's not Catholic, and he said it would take 3 years of reflecting on the resurrection being not just a Jungian archetype, but a historical event. So again, prayers, 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 and more prayers. You got to cooperate with grace. Yeah, he I don't know what's going to happen to him. He kind of accepted the role of philosopher king. I wasn't really his main audience for his first book, Rules of Order. He buys into evolutionary biology, which I do not. I don't think there were 65 million year old lobsters. And I didn't read the second book, but the guy almost died twice. He went to Russia and then I think Slovenia to try to get some kind of detox from his drug addiction. He started taking diazepam or mazagepam, one of those pans, for anxiety because he thought his wife Tammy was dying of kidney cancer. It turns out she was healed of that cancer, described as terminal through praying the rosary. So that's Tammy. That's it. Brad, what was his video about? He just resigned from... Maybe you mean Douglas... because he went to McGill Bible Study, but he taught at the University of Toronto. Now, Douglas Farrow is a Catholic theologian. It's great. He's been a guest on the show. I consider Douglas a friend. That's McGill. So, Debbie, I'm not sure what you're referring to there. DIE must die. Okay. I'll have to check it out when we're done here. This is a reading of my recent article. Okay. Is it the diversity nonsense? Yeah, students need to win it. I mean, that's his role, kind of, right? He kind of showed the way and how to fight back, come what may. But people need to stop making folks into folk heroes. They'll always let you down. Father Jeff Kirby has an amazing Bible study on YouTube, which is so in-depth. Okay, very good. He used the RSV Catholic edition, which is pretty good. I agree. You can find it at Grace Lily Productions. Sounds kind of violent, doesn't it? Grace Lily Productions. Very orthodox. Okay, good. Yeah, I like Father Jeff Kirby's stuff. There it is. So Jordan's just reading an article that he wrote. Okay. Very open to young earth. I have a few books on creation ministries, including a commentary on Genesis by, I think, Dr. Jonathan Safarti, I think. Yeah, all the church fathers taught that the lifespan genealogies are to be taken literally. Not just, the symbolic longer life of Adam, who is himself a literary figure, represents the spread of sin, and that's all it is. No. My friend David DeLyden, same thing. Young earth, makes sense. Oh, he resigned from his tenured professorship. Isn't he? Is he joining? I hope not. Jordan Peterson is joining Daily Wire? That would be a step back. Wow. I'm not surprised at all that he would resign. I mean, he made more in 1 month last year than he would have made in a couple of years as a professor. Yeah, January 2022, Peterson resigned from the employment at the University of Toronto, becoming Professor Emeritus. Okay, well, good for him. I think he's going to be even stronger. Yep. Good for him. I think he'll be even more of, off the leash, as it were. Very nice. He spoke in front of St. Stephen's Basilica in Hungary. So, I don't know, what can you say? The Lord has got his hands on Jordan, and prayer alone. He's definitely on a journey. So, very good. I'm glad he's out from under the academe slavery plantation. Anyone else subscribe to Benedictus, which is Sophia Institute Press's compilation of the daily readings from Latin Mass? Yeah, I think I did a live stream with Peter Krasnowski on that. I was given one sample, but I recommend it. It would be a good thing to subscribe to. I wish I could get to Latin Mass every day. Wouldn't that be so good? Jordan does say in the video that he recently traveled to Nashville with his wife. Well, I hope I'm not feeling that mix, but I mean, he's just bigger than any .com, any news outfit. So, well, good for him. Good for him. Any other tips, tricks, tactics, health of body, soul, strength, mind? Let me know. Do let me know. By the way, I'll put Moon Man here just for jokes and fun. You know who interviewed Bart Sibrel is Patrick Bet-David. Patrick Bet-David, a really good kind of YouTube interviewer. He and I have shared a lot of guests together. Yeah, check out Sibrel.com to the, I'm trying to think of, the video links. It's not what you think. Interesting. Here, I'll put the video links. It's a good starting point. There you go. Yes. Andrew, how you doing, my man? Say hi to Andrew, everybody. I know you're up against it, Andrew. We have your spiritual six, your spiritual back. Let us know what's happening in the Melbourne gulag, Scott Morrison's gulag. So embarrassing how they treated Djokovic, no? It's just so crazy. Truly wacky. Loretta says, I'll start it in February with my daily Latin Mass. Someone has daily Latin Mass. Daily Latin Mass, if you please. Yes, I'm jealous. Yeah, my wife has been seeing a chiropractor named Dr. Billy DeMoss. I met him at Tony Roman's restaurant, Basilico's. Very interesting guy. Beanie, F-bomb dropping kind of based guy. Probably the most based person in the medical world I've ever met. And so my daughter and wife have gone to him for a couple of times. Yes, it's not just about subluxation, right? It's complicated, complex. Hello, Kevin Brink, just jumped in. This may be off topic. Cold showers. Yeah, I've tried to do cold showers, Kevin. I really have. They're like complete torture. It's like, I feel like I'm being ravaged. Ravaged is the wrong word. Strafe-bombed, pummeled, abused, tortured by 10,000 daggers. I hate them. I even hate dipping my foot in a pool if it's not, warm. I like really hot baths. I like hot showers. Now, what I might be able to do is trick myself, like shocking myself into like 2 seconds of blasting cold and then go back to the warm. But man, no doubt they're good. One thing I could do, I was talking with the soap opera actor, Ingo. I forget his last name. He's on General Hospital, just got fired. And Ingo's very health conscious, and he's all about the Russian tradition of going in the snow or in a chainsawed out hole in the ice, like dipping in ice water, and then going into a sauna. So hot and cold. I would think that might be dangerous from a cardiac point of view, depending on your health. But yeah, I've heard cold showers are good. Makes you feel alive, huh? So this is a book link from Carl Jonathan Sarfati book, The Greatest Hoax on Earth. An account of the historical scientific commentary in Genesis 1, verses 11. Yeah, looks like the Protestant version of Father Workowitz. Interesting. I like based people. I do. I like people who are not afraid to go against the grain. I really like it. You've all heard of the Overton's window, I'm sure. Overton window. I think the Overton window should just be chucked in the trash. It's a model for understanding how ideas in society change over time. and influence politics. The core concept is that politicians are limited in what policy ideas they can support. Generally, they only pursue policies that are widely accepted throughout society as legitimate policy options. These policies lie inside the Overton window. And this is why we're screwed, because people are slaves to this stupid Overton window model instead of just telling the truth, just reading the evidence and making honest conclusions based on that evidence. Honestly, if you're worried about being called this, that, or the other, conspiracy theory, wacko, whatever, then why are you a Christian? You're supposed to stand out. You're supposed to go against it. We're a peculiar people. Catholicism is the completion, the fulfillment of Judaism, biblical Judaism. And we have to stop caring about what people think. Not that we want to deliberately whack the bushes, not that we want to be provocative for provocation's sake, or we want to be attention-getting agents provocateurs. It's not about that. It's just about knowing the truth and letting it set you free. So once you cast the Overton window and what people think or say about you and your position, it's great. Like, I know I'm going to get massive pushback and lots of, I don't know what it is. Not that I care, but I'm ready for it when I present the evidence that our real sovereign pontiff is Benedict XVI. I would never have come to even thinking about this hypothesis 2 years ago, although it's been on my mind for at least 4 or 5 years. And it wasn't until I discovered Professor Estefania Acosta's book, Pope Benedict Emeritus, ? The always is also a forever, that I began to take it seriously. Look at how many scientific revolutions happened because someone thought outside the box, someone who wasn't afraid. Here's a multi-language summary, by the way, of Professor Acosta's book. Here it is. Yeah, I'll have to revisit the cold showers thing, Kevin. Thank you for that. Question about the eat, fast, feast. Does the keto rocket coffee break the fast? I think anything breaks the fast. I think fasting means not eating. Except for water. I don't remember what Dr. J says about that. I have to go back and look it up. I don't have the book with me. But I think fasting is simply not eating unless you're drinking water. So whatever, I'm just treating it like whatever doesn't break the fast for Holy Communion, and water does not. Coffee does, tea does, juice does, gum does, water does not. You can drink water the hour before Holy Communion and you have not broken your fast. Okay, so Andrew says, same shit, different day. At least we can demolish Morrison at the polls shortly if anyone has woken up. Hopefully, I think the tennis star attack has sent people kind of over the line, hopefully. Kevin's laughing at me. Carl says, I could go to daily mass. I could go to the Latin daily mass too, easy. I'm just slothful. Me too. I'm going to Fridays, Saturdays as well. Sundays, fantastic. Off the topic of exercise motivation, says Mary Kay Miller. Hello, Mary Kay. Ladies, a nice outfit or two of exercise wear will help. Yes. Look nice. Dress up for it, because you're helping the temple of the Holy Spirit to be beautified. It's good. With you all the way with hot showers, yeah. Hot tubs are good. I'm into hot tubs. Hot showers are good. Yes, the fat has to be digested and starts the fast process over. Yes. Hello, Gina. Me too. Oh, $30, not bad. Andrew says, this is important, I still have no work, and I will look seriously at Novavax. I don't want to, but I'll have to weigh all things up shortly. Thoughts much appreciated. Yeah, Andrew, St. Joseph's your man. St. Joseph knows about work problems and feeding family issues. So hang in there. We care about you. Keep us apprised. Thank you for that, Carl. You should interview, says Keith, Joel Salatin, farms the way our grandparents did. He's written a ton of books, goes against the norm in a great way. Really makes you think about food production and supply. Joel Salatin, is he in Idaho? Is this why this guy seems familiar to me? Polyface Farms, Swoop, Virginia, Shenandoah Valley. No, there it is. Joel Salatin calls himself a Christian libertarian environmentalist, capitalist lunatic farmer. Others who like him call him the most famous farmer in the world, the high priest of the pasture, and the most eclectic thinker from Virginia since Thomas Jefferson. Those who don't like him call him a bioterrorist, typhoid Mary, charlatan, and starvation advocate. Nice. Polyface, the farm of many faces. Okay, thank you for that. That's cool. We might be following him. Who knows? Very cool. So thanks for that. If you're like me, says Lincoln, I wake up in the middle of the night to hit the restroom, usually around 3 a.m. When I get back to bed before laying down, I will pray for family who are in purgatory, and then pray for women who are planning to go in for an abortion that day, that they would be open to God's prompting to accept motherhood. Praying briefly for others allows for a peaceful return to sleep too. Yeah, that's lovely. And the old-fashioned just offering it up. I mean, sometimes all I could do when I was sick, I could just exist in my misery, knowing that minutes were just grinding slowly together. And that became the thing that I was offering up. And I was too tired and too scatterbrained because of the misery to apply it to a specific thing. And I don't know about you people, but I do not like reading. I can't read when I'm sick. It's too much. All I can do is drink ice cubed orange juice and watch old horror movies like the original Frankenstein's monster, which I enjoyed. I also enjoyed watching called The Man Behind the Mask, a Boris Karloff documentary. Very cool. Gina asks, Andrew, by any chance, do you live in New Jersey area? Yeah, Andrew is in Australia, Melbourne, Australia. But maybe that might be good for someone else. Thank you for that, Gina. Beautiful. Yvette says, as I listen intently, I'm making my dog's food because she has failing kidneys. Aw, poor little thing. I love dogs. I've learned what's good based on her diet. Sweet potatoes, organic chicken, thighs from Costco, white rice, sparingly, tricolor quinoa, cauliflower, Swiss chard, parsley, and dog greens, omega-3s, CoQ10, vitamins, micronutrients. What a loving doggy mama. That's lovely. We'll have to get our dogs together. And you can see Scout. John Jelikikikik. Just interviewed Cheryl Atkinson and discussed why people don't go against the narrative. Great interviews. Yeah, I'll look that up too. Very nice. Is it February 15th for the next date for consecration of St. Joseph? I don't know, my brother. I don't know. There it is. Good, you put the link there. Kevin Brink, I guess it depends on how you define fast. Fasting from all food would mean no fat, but for other benefits such as autophagy, many think the insulin spike is what needs to be avoided, so fat would be okay. Dave Asprey thinks fat is okay, but again, it depends on what. Yeah, I do not know the answer to the question. I do love the bullet coffee thing, and I'll have to look up more about what Dave Asprey says about his own invention, but I don't know Dr. J. Richards's take on it. Don't forget Devin Shod's consecration, which is also very lovely and powerful. On to St. Joseph. Mary Kay Miller, when I'm sick, I just lay there and listen to Catholic stations like EWTN or podcasts. Ora et miserere. Yes, exactly. Exactamente. Exactamundo. Well, peeps, thank you for your participation. I look forward to the next time we get together, a week from today. And keep those guest ideas coming. Anything about narratives and standing up and standing out is good. And I think you're going to enjoy the next couple of weeks of the show. James Perloff as well is going to come on the show. James Perloff wrote, Truth is a Lonely Warrior, 13 pieces of the puzzle in his brand new book called COVID-19 Red Pilled and the Agendas to Come. So with that, I bid you adieu. Thanks for joining us on Ask Away Thursday. Be a saint.